I am revisiting Frank Zappa. After listening to his album Hot Rats, I immediately thought, you know what I should do? I thought I should listen to another Frank Zappa album. So here we are. I'm going to listen to Apostrophe because that was the second most voted, and it seems a lot of people said if I liked one, I'd like the other. So here we are. I don't know if this is perhaps maybe one of his more user-friendly albums. I'm not quite sure, but it seemed again like Hot Rats and Apostrophe were far and wide, the leaders in the polls that we'd posted out there. So we're gonna, jump into this thing. I don't know what to expect. Everybody tells me that he's a huge genre bender, so I don't know if I'm gonna hop back into like fusion jazz or if this is just gonna be completely off the cuff. I because of what everybody has told me, I don't know what kind of consistency I am to expect as I hop into this. So, I hope you guys are willing to brave this with me. For perspective of the chat right now, how many of you have heard this album, and how many of you are joining me for the first time as we hop in? Now, before I hit the play button, it's just very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. And if you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. I would love to hear from you. Every Tuesday night, I jump into 2 different albums, and on this particular evening, we are going to be listening to Mac Miller Balloonerism, his posthumous release, as well as Frank Zappa's Apostrophe, which we will jump into now. Guys, yeah, here we go. These people over here, by the way, are the best people. Come discover music with us. Without further ado, though, don't eat the yellow... Of course, it seems like a Zappa name to hop right in, huh? Don't eat the yellow snow. Here we go. Apostrophe. Let's go. They captured a wind sound really well. I'd be interested to know how they did this, if this was with mics or synths. And by the way, this is like 5 years after Hot Rats. An Eskimo. Oh crap! It's sorry.
Dreamed I was an Eskimo. Frozen wind began to blow.
Who's the vocalist here?
Under my boots and around my toe.
This is Frank.
Frost that bit the ground below.
I'm gonna pause it. We're gonna go back because I there's some goofy noises. It's almost got like a CCR kind of guitar tone, like from Willie and the Poor Boys. But then there's this like dun 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 kind of.
Was an Eskimo.
And it's like you can hear the string pluck on the bass guitar, like it's super loose.
Frozen wind began to blow.
Like, do you hear what I'm talking about? You can hear the bass string buzz. Like, you can hear it rattle.
Under my boots and around my toe.
Bow, bow. And what's this? Ba, ba. Is that literally what I'm hearing? Is ba, ba.
Frost that bit the ground below. Was 100 degrees below.
The drum transition.
And my mama cried. And my mama cried.
Do we have a person singing the bass? Or is this vocal editing in slow tapes? This, because it's so breathy. I really love this. And again, there's just a lot of layers. I feel like that's one thing that's always stood out to me when I've revisited his music is that there's just so many dynamics and layers to it. Again, especially the inner workings between this guitar and bass line, along with this like atmospheric. There's still that atmospheric sound that we heard from the very beginning, but there's also like this vocal like bah, bah kind of stuff. I don't quite know what to make of it. I'm enjoying it, but it's like my brain is finding itself picking it apart. Onion core is a great way to put this. Layers.
Don't be a naughty Eskimo. Save your money, don't go to the show.
The drum. I love the drums
well,
going.
Turned around and I said, ho, ho, ho. Well, I turned around and I said, ho, ho, ho. Well, I turned around and I said, ho, ho. And the northern lights commenced to glow. And she said, with a tear in her eye, watch out where the huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow. Watch out where the huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow.
I really want to go back and kind of revisit a few different parts in that. I really found that, again, the way you just introduce the whole thing with this kind of atmospheric thing, and it makes it feel like it's going to be a little bit more tense, and it ends up just kind of being a vibe, right? Like just a kick back, like kind of a bluesy thing, but it's like where blues meets jazz, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. And I guess the reason there is the confusion on what's happening with the voice is because I'm hearing different ways it could be approached, right? And for the time period, I don't quite know which way to do it. Based on what I've heard Zappa do before, like he has done slow tom stuff, he like where he has like, you know, from what's it's been described to me as like, you know, singing into a slower tape. Love You, Nugget Stretch, 54 months, holy crap, on a streak. But then there's also like he could have just been singing really low, so he could have slowed it down via the tape, he could have slowed it down or just sang low. But because I know he does both things, I didn't know which one it was. So again, when I'm hearing sounds, I recognize that there are different ways to approach the sounds. Not every sound is like a one-size-fits-all. That's obviously what you're hearing. And with his sounds in particular, there's a lot of different things to pick apart. So I guess that's where the confusion on what it is I'm hearing. I feel like a lot of people are like, well, obviously that's a guitar, but maybe it's actually not, you know? And that's the notion I find myself fighting. So for whatever that's worth to you.
Oh, oh, oh. Well, I turned
the drum transition, I wanted to come back and visit at this part because you have this really fast hi-hat thing into this transition.
No money, don't go to the show.
Right here. And it slows down.
Well, I turned around and I said,
going from like double time to you know, standard time is just it's a fun, jarring experience. There was a lot about the song I enjoyed.
Oh, oh.
The oh.
Well, I turned around and I said,
and the cadence and the way he sings here.
Well, I turned around and I said, ho, ho, and the northern lights commenced to glow.
Okay, so the overdubbing thing is something he's like, this is a Zappa thing. He does.
Watch out where the huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow.
And then for it to
Watch
end
out
here.
Where the huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow. Well, right about that time, people, a fur traffic.
And he mentioned Nanook before.
Strictly commercial. Had the unmitigated audacity to jump up from behind my igloo. Peekaboo. And he started in the whipping on my favorite baby seal with a lead-filled snowshoe. I said, with a lead-filled snowshoe. He said peekaboo, peekaboo, with a lead.
I'm gonna run this whole friggin' thing back from the top, dude. Every bit about this thing has me excited. I'm not even trying to front. The transition from one song into the other, the kind of fade. We revisited this theme, this Nanook theme. Rubs It. Like he mentioned his the Nanook thing in the Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. Is Apostrophe like a concept album for like an Arctic place? Right there is where the Nanook Oh No No thing came from.
Right about that time, people. A third
like, is it a concept album?
A third track, strictly from commercial.
The horn coming in there.
Strictly commercial. Had the unmitigated audacity to jump up from behind my igloo. Peekaboo.
And this
started in the whipping on my favorite baby seal.
There's like it has like an old TV kind of sound to it. Like it reminds me of like old cartoons, especially like it sounded like Fred Flintstone was bowling, or get like Twinkle Toes bowling as he's going down the lane. You know what I'm talking about? So the Yellow Snow Suite is what this is called. So the first 4 songs of the same story. Got it. Yeah. But again, the way he kind of introduces scenes through this thing. You have the horns,
audacity to jump up from behind my...
and again, just his delivery in unmitigated audacity to jump up from behind my igloo.
Audacity to jump up from behind my igloo. And he started in the whipping on my favorite baby seal with a lead-filled snowshoe. I said, with a lead-filled snowshoe. He said peekaboo, peekaboo, with a lead.
And you've got like a really low harmony, like lead, feel, like the harmonies are great, man.
Peekaboo, peekaboo, with a lead. With a lead-filled snowshoe. He said peekaboo. He went right upside the head of my favorite baby seal. He went whap with a lead-filled snowshoe, and he hit him on the nose, and he hit him on the fin, and he... That got me just about as evil as an Eskimo boy can be. So I bent down and I reached down and I scooped down and I gathered up a generous mitten full of the deadly yellow snow. The deadly yellow snow from right there where the huskies go. Whereupon I proceeded to
Is that a
take
synth?
mitten full of the deadly yellow snow crystals and rub it all into his beady little eyes with a vigorous circular motion hitherto unknown to the people in this area, but destined to take the place of the mud shark in your mythology. Here it goes now, the circular motion, rub it. And then in a fit of anger, I pounced. And I pounced again. Great googly moogly. I jumped up.
Great googly moogly was said in the movie Monsters, Inc. Mike Wazowski is Great Googly Moogly. That's a Zappa reference. There's so many other things I want to say, but they all just got thrown out of the window because of Mike friggin' Wazowski being Great Googly Moogly. And I can't help that connected with me. I was in the 5th grade when that movie came out. What do you want I should do? Act like that's not a part of my life? Like, act like that's not a core memory of my life? Great Googly Moogly. Like, that is not something I thought I was going to discover in a Frank Zappa album. Just saying. And again, everything from like we're listening to a song about a guy rubbing pee-pee snow in somebody's face for hitting his favorite seal over the head with the lead shoe. I think that the phrase far out makes a lot more sense to me listening to Frank Zappa. Like, that's why they were saying that. That's why they were saying far out, man. Because, like, this is far out there. This is out of this. This is not a normal thing. And the music is wailing, and him just coming in with these, like, wailing friggin' guitar leads intermittently while also singing it, by the way. So, like, I wonder if he had the big brain to be able to sing and play these things at the same time. But these leads are just unbelievable. Let's go back from the scooping down and gathering a mitten full of the deadly yellow snow.
It's down and I scooped down and I gathered up a generous mitten full of the deadly yellow snow. The deadly yellow snow from right there where the huskies go.
And you said that's a trumpet, but like it sounded computery, which is why I thought it could have been a synth, like with the knob.
From right there where the huskies go. Whereupon I proceeded to take that.
How did they modulate that trumpet sound?
Full of the deadly yellow snow crystals and rub it all into his beady little eyes with a vigorous circular motion hitherto unknown to the people in this area, but destined to take the place of the mud shark in your mythology. Here it goes now, the circular motion, rub it.
This guitar part, as we're rubbing pee-pee snow.
And then in a fit of anger, I pounced. And I pounced again.
Even the character of the pouncing.
Great googly moogly.
The shock.
I injured the fur trapper. Well, he was very upset, as you can understand. And rightly so, because the deadly yellow snow crystals had deprived him of his sight.
He blinded a guy with yellow snow crystals?
And he looked around and he said, I can't see. I can't see. Oh, woe is me. I can't see. Took a dog-do snow cone and stuffed it in my right eye. He took a dog-do snow cone and stuffed it in my right eye.
Why does he have a dog-do snow cone?
And the husky the doggy wee-wee has blinded me. And I can't see temporarily. Well, the fur trapper stood there with his arms outstretched across the frozen white wasteland, trying to figure out what he's going to do about his deflicted eyes. And it was at that precise moment that he remembered an ancient Eskimo legend wherein it is written, on whatever it is that they write it on up there, that if anything bad ever happens to your eyes as a result of some sort of conflict with anyone named Nanook, the only way you can get it fixed up is to go trudging across the tundra, mile after mile. Trudging across the tundra, right down to the parish of St. Alfonso.
I really love him. I really love him. I don't have any kind of comparison to anything like this. I can't think of a single friggin' thing that sounds like him. He is whacked. This is a goofy friggin' song. This is a song about blinding two people, a fur trapper and a Nanook, blinding one another with pee-pee and poo-poo snow, respectively, of course. And like that vamp section at the end, like the narration behind it. I'm not trying to brown nose here, right? Like, I'm actually astounded. I don't think that, like, I don't even know what predates this. Who is he inspired by? I can tell you a ton of people that I have heard in my course of time that sound like Frank Zappa. But who the frig does Frank sound like? Other than Frank. This is nuts. Actually mind-blowing. It's not at all what I expected. Especially after coming off of Hot Rats, you know? I didn't quite know what I was getting at, but again, this whole little bit of lore about the goofiest fighting I've ever seen. It's like jazz meets psychedelia meets old blues meets Frank Zappa, I guess. And he's a sober dude. Sober as a bird. Wrote this.
On whatever it is that they write it on up there. That if anything bad ever
on whatever it is
eyes,
that Frank Zappa writes it on.
As a result of some sort of conflict with anyone named Nanook. The only way you can get it.
The keys in the background here, though, right? Like, and the drums, the entirety of the song.
He took a dog.
The bump, like all of these like big moments, right? Like the music feeds into that moment, like on a stage performance that isn't music, but like theatric.
Do snow cone and stuffed it in my other eye, and the husky the doggy wee has blinded me, and I can't see temporarily. Well, the fur trapper stood there with his arms outstretched across the frozen white wasteland.
And this bass line,
it was at that precise moment that he remembered an ancient Eskimo legend wherein it is written, on whatever it is that they write it on up there, that if anything bad ever happens to your eyes as a result of some sort of conflict with anyone named Nanook, the only way you can get it fixed up is to go trudging across the tundra, mile after
So we're
mile.
heading down to see St. Alfonso.
Across the tundra, right down.
His character with his voice is trudging across the tundra. Like, has all... I can't see. Oh, woe is me. Like, it's just so cool to me, dude.
To St. Alfonso.
The xylophone. And this sound.
Yes, indeed, here we are. At St. Alfonso's pancake breakfast, where I stole the margarine and wheedled on the bingo cards in lieu of the latrine. I saw a handsome parish lady make her entrance like a queen, while she was totally chenille and her old man was a Marine. As she abused the sausage patty and said, why don't you treat me mean?
I have to pause it because I'm doing a reaction, and I can't just let one song play all the way through. But I've got to say, Frank Zappa has me so mesmerized right now. Like I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what is happening? Wow. I didn't expect us to end up at a pancake breakfast at all. Not where I saw the story going, nor did I see it going into the PP or poo-poo snow cone. But here we are.
Yes, indeed. Here we are. At St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
Like, he makes it sound like a commercial.
Where I stole the margarine.
And the drums.
And wheeled on the bingo
and the
cards
bass.
in lieu of the latrine. I saw a handsome parish lady make her entrance like a queen.
A handsome lady.
She was totally chenille and her old man was a Marine. As she abused the sausage patty and said, why don't you treat me mean?
And there's like an orgasming girl in the background here. I don't know if I'm allowed to say orgasming girl, so it sounds like a girl is putting on her O face in the background. Right there. You hear what I'm talking about? Is it just me?
At St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast. Wow. Get off the bus. Where I stole the margarine.
Abusing a sausage patty? Is this a euphemism for, like playing 5-on-1? You know? For like getting a squeezer? You know, like an old fashioned? Like a tuggy? You know? Like, am I missing something about abusing a sausage patty? I'm pausing it now, but frig, I paused it hoping I'd beat the transition because this is clearly a concept album. I don't even know what to make of this story. There are so many twists and turns. Well, dang, how's it going? Well, dang, the St. Alfonso thing it ended up being like a psychedelic Mario commercial at the very end of it, like years before Mario ever happened. And then it becomes like a St. Alfonso breakfast house commercial. Like this? I didn't even know what to make. I didn't even know what... It's like you're having a dream. It's like the scene is like a nonsensical dream. Tina Turner and the Ikeettes are the background singers here? Huh? And also, is this a bass line and a guitar happening at the same time, playing in sequence? Like, just to give you, like, an octave effect? Or is it just one sound?
Get on your feet and do the funky Alfonzo.
There's There's no doubt that this has reminded me of the one Cardiac song I've heard. There's no doubt. This album in general.
Was whipping up batter for the pancakes of his spot. He was looking rather bleary. He forgot to watch the clock. Cause the night before, behind the door, a leprechaun had strode. The night before, behind the door, a leprechaun had strode. He stroked it.
You guys are going to hate me because I'm going to have to keep revisiting these things. But Father Bivian Oblivion, I guess, is as good a place as any to start.
Father Bivian Oblivion, resplendent in his frock, was whipping up batter for the pancakes of his spot. He was looking rather bleary. He forgot to watch the clock. Cause the night before, behind the door, a leprechaun had strode.
I'm not going to comment on the lyricism. We're just going to follow along and laugh hysterically. But I think it's crazy that Father Bivian Oblivion is the one that's, whipping up the pancakes, right? But in a leprechaun
The night before, behind the door, a leprechaun had stroked. He stroked it.
Slowly stroked it.
The night before, behind the door, a leprechaun had stroked.
So did the leopard... So, wait, did Father...
It set him off in such a frenzy, he sang lock around the clock. And he topped it off with a... And he topped it off with a... And he topped it off with a...
I feel like this is also like the earliest phases of rap metal bass lines that you'll hear in general. But there's also like, I feel like I should call attention to the fact that I think that Father Bivian Oblivion from St. Alfonso's Pancake House got a booster from a leprechaun. You know? Like, I think he got a tuggy from a leprechaun.
Off in such a frenzy, he sang lock around the clock. And he topped it off with a... And he topped it off with a... And he topped it off with a...
With an O face. He topped it off with an O face.
He was delighted as it stiffened and ripped right to his side. Oh, Saint Alfonso would be proud of me. He shouted down the block. Dominus vobiscum et conspiritu tuo. Won't you eat my sleazy pancakes just for saintly Alfonso? They're so light and fluffy white, we'll raise a fortune by tonight. They're so light and fluffy white, we'll raise a fortune by tonight. They're so light and fluffy brown, they're the finest in the town. They're so light and fluffy brown, they're the finest in the town. Good morning, your highness. Ooh.
This is maybe the album I know the least. I don't have anything intelligent to actually be able to say about any of this. It's so far over my head. I wish it weren't. Like, I wish I were smarter. Walter, read that verse back again as if it's super serious poetry. Yeah, I got you. Okay. The last verse back again. Good gosh, you're sumptuous. Ooh. Good morning, your highness. Good gosh, you're sumptuous. So, does humor really belong in music? Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything belongs in music in a time and place, right? I find that this is just such an amalgamation of like a melting pot of music and genius and ideas. This music is what, if a genre of music could have ADHD, it is this album. And it's like this album is a celebration of the superpower that is having ADHD. In a weird way. It's so cool. It's so interesting to see all of the different dynamics that go into what he does, and to spruce it up with like funny lyricism that are lyrically abstract, we'll say, but virtuously sang and delivered, because again, these harmonies, all of the bombastics, the cadence that they sing along with the music, all of it. And to your point, I don't think you could make music like this anymore, and it be really celebrated in the same way. I feel like perhaps, you know, like Black Midi or Jordy Griep maybe are the one, like people that I can think of right now that are even doing anything remotely kind of close to this. I mean, truly, this is it's something so uniquely special, and something I'm really happy I decided to jump into. Oh, and it has that. So I'm going to actually bring it back a little bit so we can all transition into the next song. I have to run an ad break, so I am going to step away for a few moments, but not too many moments, and we're going to come back and hop back into this and finish it up. I will be right back. I think at this point, Walt is certain that he's going to listen to Joe's Garage. Yeah, I'm sold. Hang on. We are back. I want to apologize. I've been reflecting while I was saying hello to People Knievel, and I recognize that I've paused this more than I would typically pause a standard reaction. And I guess a bit of it is I can't help but be blown away by what I'm hearing. There are so many elements for me to pick apart between the lyricism and the music, and I know I'm missing things because it's physically impossible for me to pick out all of these different little things he does. And it is a lot to take in. And I recognize again that I've been a bit more verbose perhaps this video than in other videos. So I do want to apologize for that, but holy cats, man, this has actually been wonderful. I'm going to try to let him cook a bit longer in between pausing, but recognize in doing so, I'm probably just going to miss stuff that breezes by me. But I brought it back a little bit. Let's see this transition into the next song. I love yous. And if you don't like it that I pause, suck a butt. It's my channel. I don't come to your house and slam your doors. I'm kidding. Sort of. You're sumptuous. Oh, bro.
The mystery man came over.
Is this Frank too?
I'm out of sight. He said for a nominal service charge I could reach Nirvana tonight. If I was ready, willing, and able to pay him his regular fee, he would drop all the rest
Baseline.
of his pressing affairs and devote his attention to me. But I said,
Look here, brother, who you jiving with that cosmic debris?
now who you jiving with that cosmic debris?
Look here.
Nope. I made it 45 seconds. It's the best I'm going to be able to do. Bro, his baritone bass voice, this kind of sexy and mysterious narration has got just this super cool vibe. And I'm finding that I'm a tiny bit obsessed with the way he's delivering this whole thing.
The man came over and he said, I'm out of sight. He said for a nominal service charge I could reach Nirvana tonight. If I was
And the bass, don't.
ready, willing, and able to pay him his regular fee, he would drop all the rest of his pressing affairs and devote his attention to me. But I said.
Look here, brother.
The harmonies.
Who you driving with that cosmic debris?
Now who
Who you driving with the cosmic debris?
Who you driving with that cosmic debris?
Now who you jive?
That's Tina.
That cosmic debris.
The xylophone there really sillies it up.
Your time on me.
The mystery man got nervous and he fidgeted around a bit.
A bit.
He reached in the pocket of his mystery robe and he whipped out a shaving kit. Now I thought it was a razor and a can of foaming goo. But he told me right then when the top popped open there was nothing his box won't do.
The use of the xylophone in this has been really special. Did you hear that really fast xylophone run?
In the pocket of his mystery robe and he whipped out a shaving kit. Now
That.
I thought it was a razor and a can of foaming goo. But he told
Yeah,
me right
he's
then
got
when the top popped open there was
Folly.
nothing his box won't
Like he created Folly for his album here, and that's amazing to me.
with the oil of Aphrodite and the dust of the Grand Wazoo. He said you might not believe this, little fellow, but it'll cure your asthma too. And I said,
Look here, brother.
The drums.
With that cosmic debris.
now what kind of a guru are you anyway?
Look here, brother. Don't you waste your time on me.
Don't waste your time.
There, I recognize I probably paused it just as a wailer was about to happen, but the Dr. Seuss thing really does kind of ring to me here, right? Like it feels like old cartoons. It feels like so much of the folly that is used in old cartoons made its way here and serves as kind of like scene transitionary moments, or like gives you an element of the imagery in which he's singing about, and I think that adds just a special pizzazz to this. Oh man. The stank on this thing. Oh my gosh.
I've got
Bow, 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 bow. Like that transitionary there.
I've got troubles of my own, I said, and you can't help me out, so take your meditations and your preparations and ram it up your snout,
Wow.
I got the crystal ball.
he said, and held it to the light. So I snatched it all away from him, and I showed him how to do it right. I wrapped the newspaper around my head so I looked like I was deep. I said some mumbo jumbo then. I told him he was going to sleep. I robbed his rings and rocket watch and everything else I found. I had that sucker hypnotized. He couldn't even make a sound. I proceeded to tell him his future then. As long as he was hanging around, I said,
The price of meat has just gone up and your old lady has just gone down.
Look here, brother. Who you driving with that cosmic debris?
I want to hear you guys. Are you catching the Tom run that they do?
Just gone down.
Look here, brother. Who you driving with that cosmic debris?
now is that a a real poncho or is that a Sears poncho? Don't you know you could make more money as a butcher? So don't you waste your time on me.
And the shredding in the back. I think Frank Zappa is a genius. I think he's actually like a brain the likes of which I'll never understand. I mean, he definitely writes some spicy things for the time period. There's no doubt about it. Like people, like women would be clutching their pearls if they knew what he was saying in this thing. Like, I mean, Yellow Snow and getting boosters from leprechauns. Like it's a unique experience. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Solo Deadhead, thank you so much for the tiggle bitties, man. I appreciate it. So, hang on. Excentrifugal Forz.
The clouds are really cheap, the way I seen them through the ports, of which there is a half a dozen on the base of my resorts. You wouldn't think I'd have too many.
Why does this remind me of Punch You in the Eye?
The clouds are really cheap, the way I seen them through the ports, of which there is a half a dozen on the base of my resorts. You wouldn't think I'd have too many, since I never cared for sports, but I'm never really lonely in my excentrifugal force.
We're going to listen to that solo again because that was distinct. It was distinct. Yeah, there's definitely a punch you in the eye vibe from Fish. The in the background here. Bum bum bum.
In my excentrifugal force.
This squealy fuzzy thing. For sure.
There's all
Sweet. I can hear that. I can hear it.
Him and me can play the blues, and then I'll watch him buff that tiny ruby that he used. He'll straighten up his turban.
Is he
and eject a little ooze
doing like reverse reverbs here?
Organism underneath my shoe. And then I'll call Pub Tentacle. I'll ask him how's his chin. I'll find out how the future is.
Whoa.
Because that's where he's been. His little feet got long and flexible, and suckers fell right in. The time
he's really capturing some of the goofiest sounds of the future here. And this is the title track. Look at that mustache. Buzzy sounds here, so he's playing on like his low E string or A string, and literally just so fuzzy, so compressed, making these sounds. Maybe it's a bass played up high, could be that too. But the treble in this sound makes me think it's a guitar and not a bass. It's a bass fuzz, okay. Gotcha. I'm wrong then. drums, this bass tone. It's a tighter bass sound than a farty bass sound. That's got to be like the livest bass sound I think I've ever heard. It's a lot of response out of a bass, which is why, like I said, I kind of thought it was played on a guitar, but hearing that, like, really, if a bass guitar was a snare drum, imagine if the snare strings were really, really, really tight, right? It's kind of the way I feel like I'm hearing this bass guitar happen right now. Very trebly, very fuzzy, something huge. What's up, Karma? Describe his tone here. Like, it's fuzzy without crunch. I don't know how to describe it. I'm gonna go back because I paused it in the middle. It's like I feel like I can hear the string, like as if I'm putting my ear up to an electric guitar that isn't amplified, right? But I feel like I can also hear like an element of fuzz, but without it being fuzzy. And it's not crunchy like distortion. It's not ballsy like overdrive. It's like an empty fuzz sound that's somehow a clean tone too. It's such a unique texture to the guitar. Drum sound too. And then to just go into that open drone sound, like that open drum sound where, like I said, you can really hear the room, you know, like I love a good drum room. There's just something about it. Like and that tone is just so unique. And I see that you're saying that he's got his pickups out of phase. So like if the magnets are off, that explains a little bit about what's happening with why I'm hearing the string pluck so specifically before it ever hits an amplifier. But it almost to me sounds like he's got a microphone up to his electric guitar by where his hand is striking the strings so that you're getting the sound of the guitar being plucked dry in addition to the other tone. Does that make any sense to you? That's because there's such a specific sound to the way his attack sounds. I don't. It's like I'm hearing like the sound of an electric guitar before it ever hits the amp. And that bass sound, dude. It's the most unique fuzz sound I think I've ever really stepped into. That upward bend there. What's up, Rib Rack? Thanks for following, homie. Already downloading the album. I've loved every bit of it. Every single song I've loved. Every single song on this album I have loved. Uncle Remus. Kind of a ballad here. Ooh. Love that drum sound.
Are we moving too slow?
The panning here.
Have you seen us, Uncle Remus? We look pretty sharp in these clothes. Yes, we do, unless we get sprayed with a hose. It ain't bad in the day if they squirt it your way, except in the winter when it's froze. And it's hard if it hits on your nose.
Dude. I love that he's approaching this satirically, and I love that he's commenting on it. It takes a big ballsy person to speak out against something that has, especially in this time period, such a stigma to it. And it's ridiculous that we're talking about a stigma for being about something like human rights, right? But it says a lot about a man that is willing to do that, because there were plenty of people that didn't go out of their way to say anything at all, right? And I think for a musician to come out and just say like, hey, the spade is a spade and this is dumb, so I'm going to write a song about it. I respect the hell out of that. And man, we look pretty sharp in our clothes unless we get sprayed with a hose. Oh man. And then that guitar solo in between, and then coming in the background vocalist there. And it transitions from kind of like minor to major.
Just keep your nose to the grindstone, they say. Will that redeem us, Uncle Remus? I can't wait till my fro is full grown. I'll just throw away my do-rag at home. I'll take a drive to Beverly Hills just before dawn, and knock the little jockeys off the rich people's lawn. And before they get up, I'll be gone, I'll be gone. Before they get up, I'll be knocking the jockeys off the lawn, down the
Tone, dude. Is it the best one on the album? Probably. It's probably the best one. The Suite was great, right? But I almost feel like this is all one. Cosmik Debris, dude, honestly, I'm sitting here debating what the best thing is, and I'm already trying to pair songs together so I don't have to pick. That should tell you how good the album is. I'm actually sad that this is coming to an end. I'm actually sad. I've liked this significantly more than I liked Hot Rats. There's an eclectic nature to both of them, but I really feel like I've kind of gotten to know who Frank is a little bit more with this one. And yeah, I've really, really, really enjoyed this.
in the dark.
Oh yeah.
Where all the fevers grow. Under the water, where the shark bubbles blow. In the morning, by your radio, do the walls close in to suffocate ya? You ain't got no friends, and all the others they hate ya. Does the life you've been leading gotta go? Well, let me straighten you out about a place I know. Get your shoes and socks on, people, it's right around the corner. Out through the night and the whispering breezes, to the place where they keep the imaginary diseases. Out through the night and the whispering breezes, to the place where they keep the imaginary diseases. This has to be the...
Let's run it back.
This has to be the disease for you. Now, scientists call this disease bromidrosis, but us regular folks, who might wear tennis shoes or an occasional python boot, know this exquisite little inconvenience by the name of
Stink butt.
you know,
The television sound folly edition in this album has me just tickled, dude.
This exquisite
Actually
little
tickled.
inconvenience by the name of
Doon, doon,
You know,
doon, doon.
my python boot is too tight. I couldn't get it off last night. A week went by, and now it's July. I finally got it off, and my girlfriend cried. You got stinkfoot, stinkfoot, darling. Yes,
It's better than stink fingered for sure.
stinkfoot puts a hurt on my nose. Stinkfoot, I ain't lying. And you rinse it off, do you suppose?
Here, Fido! Fido! Come here, little puppy. Bring the slippers. Arf, arf, arf.
Now I understand the arf 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 from earlier. And this tone is making me happy. The wall. It's so wet you can hear the ripples. Almost accomplishing like a sitar kind of vibe. Bro. It's called a polyphonic octave generator, Skylight.
Well, then Fido got up off the floor and he rolled over and he looked me straight in the eye. And you know what he said? Once upon a time, somebody say to me, this is a dog talking now, what is your conceptual continuity? Well, I told him right then, Fido said, it should be easy to see. The crux of the biscuit is the apostrophe. Well,
Titular phrase. We're going to go back. A dog is saying this, by the way. And you know what he said? Once upon a time, somebody said, say to me, this is the dog talking. I want to hear this again.
well, then Fido got up off the floor and he rolled over and he looked me straight in the eye. And you know what he said? Once upon a time, somebody say to me, this is a dog talking now, what is your conceptual continuity? Well, I told him right then, Fido said, it should be easy to see. The crux of the biscuit
Is the
apostrophe.
The titular phrase, baby.
Well, you know, the man that was talking to the dog looked at the dog and he said, sort of staring in disbelief, you can't say that. He said, it doesn't, and you can't. I won't, and it don't. It hasn't. It isn't. It even ain't. And it shouldn't. It couldn't. He told me no, no, no. I told him yes, yes, yes. I said I do it all the time. Ain't this boogie a mess?
The brutal bias, the brutal choosing, 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 the
It's speeding it up at the end. I need to let the last 6 seconds play. Guys, that was an S tier album immediately. That was an S tier album immediately. This magnificent human being really just blew my mind. I think it's safe to say that I'm just going to be continuously, as time goes, just jumping back into Frank Zappa. I would say I'm just going to keep going. Like, I don't necessarily have a goal to finish them all as fast as possible, but I have to hear more. I don't know that I could say enough good things about this. I don't know that I could say enough good things about this album. I think everything of it was genius, from the whimsy behind it, to the humor behind it, to the instrumentation behind it, all of the different bombastics, all of the different layers, all of the different, like, hilarious circumstances. And at the end, you kind of end up in like a cycle again, because Fido's about to make some poos and pees, and we're gonna end up not eating the yellow snow again. And this is again another one of those albums where I can look and recognize that I missed so many things going through that reaction, right? Like, I genuinely could not have picked everything apart, even if I listened to it by myself in a dark room with my eyes closed, just listening to every sound as intently as I could. I still wouldn't have caught everything. There's just no possible way. But again, of all of the music that I have found myself loving in life, I'm having a hard time separating Frank Zappa from what all of these other artists that I've loved my whole life do. And I can't help but think that maybe I have been inspired by Frank Zappa for a massive point of my life and didn't even know it. I didn't even know it, you know? Yeah. I loved this. I really love Frank Zappa. I'm really surprised I'm saying this. Like, you kind of sometimes think that you've, like, heard all of the things that are going to blow you away, or you found all of your favorites already, but, like, maybe I haven't. And I think that this is another one of those kinds of moments for me right now as a streamer and as, like, a creator and, like, a reactor or music commentary channel, whatever the frig you want to call me. This is one of those moments where, like, you kind of rediscover something about music that makes you love music so much, you know? Like, there's still a newness out there the further down you dig into music. And this is exactly one of those moments in life where I'm very thankful for doing this, because again, it stops that musical death feeling that you have, where it's like you listen to the same 200 songs over and over and over, and you just feel like you've heard everything good that's going to touch you and inspire you. Like, there's still potentially favorites out there for us to still discover, and potentially I might have just found one, you know? Anyways, I digress. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. I love you. Goodbye.